there, Ifidas here, and here we are in Parsha Noach. And this week's Parsha is so exciting because there are so many valuable lessons that we can learn from this week's Parsha. And it's one of those stories that most of us are familiar with. But let's pinpoint something that we may have overlooked. Noach, we know, is the most righteous person of this generation, and he's been chosen to build the ark. Now God says to Noah, I want you to build the ark. It has to be these specific measurements, and it has to be this specific floor plan. And he gives all of the details to Noah. And then once he's completed, giving all of the specifics, he says, by the way, there's going to be this horrible flood and everybody's going to die. It's going to be horrible. But this is what you need to do. Don't you think you would lead with, you got to do this or you're going to die? I mean, that's kind of a motivator. I think that would probably motivate me. So why wouldn't he talk to Noah in that fashion? Why is he giving all the specific details before he says why he needs to do it? And we can actually learn a very valuable lesson, which is when we face challenges all the time, we're struggling between what is right and what is wrong. Because usually what is wrong seems to make a lot of sense. And what is right doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, should I eat the entire cake for myself? Well, that sounds like a great plan because I bought it and I, want to eat it. So that sounds about right. But the right thing to do would be to share it with other people. And that doesn't feel so great to say that the right thing is not what I want. And sometimes what is right is even so hard to explain. Have you ever tried to explain to a 3-year-old that it's wrong to put your finger in a socket or other things that they think are just common sense that we all should be smacking each other in the face because that's a normal thing to do? Have you ever had to explain why that is wrong? It's sometimes very challenging. Some things are so ingrained in us that we understand that this is right and this is wrong that we can't even explain it. And this is what God wants to show us by speaking to Noah in this way. That I created the world and I created it for you because I love you. Therefore, the things that are right, what is right to do in situations, you might not fully understand that. I'm setting you up for success. So I'm telling you what is the best thing for you to do. You may understand it or you may not. That's why he doesn't lead with saying there's going to be a humongous flood. Because Noah could have had many other responses like, why? I don't get it. It's not that bad. He could have had a lot of different viewpoints that wouldn't have gotten him to understand that this is what really is best for him. And he might not have done it if he'd told in a different way. But we learned that everything in our lives that is actually right, we may not be able to understand. Sometimes we will. We're very lucky that God always put clues in every single place in the world for us to better understand the world and to better understand what is right for us to do. But sometimes we won't. And sometimes what's doing the right thing doesn't feel so great. Sometimes it feels so much better to do what's wrong. Speaking Lashon Hara, speaking gossip, that's pretty juicy. That's pretty great. But we know that that's wrong. And sometimes it's hard to explain why. We learn this very valuable lesson when we are facing challenges. We need to think to ourselves, what's right and what is wrong? And when I know what's right, even if I can't explain it, that doesn't make it less right. Shabbat shalom.